Sorry about that. Just turning it on. Hey, what's up, guys? Today we are going to be ranking every Back to the Future movie worst to best. Here I have this box set of all the Back to the Future movies. That's what's on the inside. As you can see, it's big, crazy. 2 discs per movie. Crazy. But anyway, yeah, we're ranking all the Back to the Future movies worst to best. I already told you that I have this big box set of all of them. And let's not waste any time and get right into it. This should be a quick video. Oh, and there's also this part that gives you information on the front. Anyway, number 3 is Back to the Future 3. Back to the Future 3 suffers, I feel like, it's kind of like sequel fatigue. I feel like it's sequel fatigue, because, I feel like, for me, it's sequel fatigue, because, Back to the Future 3 is not a bad movie. I mean, I love this franchise, and all the movies in it are pretty good for the most part. It's just not as good as the other two. And, how do I say this? Well, I mean, the setting where it takes place in the 1800s, and, they go after Biff's, like, grandfather, Mad Dog Tannen, or whatever they call him. The setting in the Wild Wild West, it doesn't interest me. The setting in the Wild Wild West, how they have to get a train to go back in time, and the story just doesn't interest me, and, it doesn't interest me like it did the other two, and it's not as good as the other two. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to go check on something, and, I didn't want to record another clip, but like I said, continuing on to Back to the Future 3, story, it's not as interesting as the other two, it's not as good as the other two, and the story doesn't interest me like the other two do, and, I mean, they ended it just like they end any trilogy. They make it so that your dreams of a 4th movie are crushed, because at the end, the DeLorean, the time machine, gets destroyed by a train. Everybody keeps asking for a Back to the Future 4, but frankly, it's not possible. Number 1, the DeLorean got destroyed. Number 2, the actors are getting, like, the actor that plays Marty McFly has Parkinson's, and the actor that plays Doc Brown is getting old, so frankly, it just can't happen. And if they ever remake Back to the Future, I am going to be so mad, because it will not be as good as the original, or live up to the original in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, moving on. 2nd place, Back to the Future 2. I really like this movie, because how they go back to 2015, and since 2015 has already passed, we can now say what predictions are right that they made. They got a lot of predictions right and a lot wrong. I mean, hoverboards never got invented. However, we did get self-tying sneakers, but they're really expensive, and we also did get 3D movies. They predicted Jaws 16, however, we never got 16 Jaws. We only got 4 Jaws. Jaws 1, 2, 3, and The Revenge. Kind of a cliche title for a movie, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, we never got 16 Jaws. We also never got, hoverboards, and I could be here all day just naming the predictions they got right and naming the ones they got wrong and stuff, so we're just going to move on to why I think the movie is in 2nd place. This movie's in 2nd place because it's really good, and I like it. The story about how old Biff finds the sports almanac, and not only does he find the sports almanac, but I like the sports almanac, and he finds the sports almanac and finds the DeLorean, time travels to 1955, and gives it to his younger self, which affects the future when they go back. which is pretty interesting. That's why I like Back to the Future, because the time travel makes sense. If you go to the past and do something, if you go to the past and do something, the past becomes your present. And if you go to the present, if you go to the past and kill someone, someone is dead in the present, like still dead. So, and if you go back to the future and do something, your future is affected. I mean, your present is not. If you go to the future and do something, your present won't really be affected. If you go to the past and do something, then your future is affected as well as your present. I mean, that's how time travel should work. And if you've seen Avengers Endgame, you know how they explain time travel works, and it makes no sense. They said your future becomes your past, and your now present becomes the. I forget how they explain it, but it's really complicated. And they mentioned that Back to the Future is a bunch of BS. That they said, so Back to the Future is a bunch of BS. Back to the Future's time travel makes way more sense than Avengers Endgame. Anyway, yeah, like I was talking about, Back to the Future 2. The story's good. It's good. It's a fun time, funny, interesting. It's definitely, they have a day dedicated to Back to the Future 2 because of, well, no, that was only, it's a really cool story and everything. Like I said, I'd rather watch it than the third one because the future setting is interesting, and the third one where the Wild Wild West setting is just not as interesting, so that's why it's second place. First place, if you didn't see this coming, I don't know how, but the original Back to the Future is a classic and is definitely one of the best movies of all time, like best movies ever made. I've seen it on top 100 movies of all time list for best movies ever made, and I totally agree with them, and I totally see why it is on the list, and it has every right to be there and deserves it because it is a great movie. The plot is interesting, how he goes back to 1955, acts like a normal high school student because he sees his young dad and young mom, and his mom is attracted to him, and he tries to make sure that doesn't happen because he wants his mom to get with his dad, and he has to do that. He also has to stop Biff because Biff wants to get with his mom. His dad doesn't want to get with his mom, so he also has that problem. Now, at the end, he makes it so that he affects the future. His parents still end up getting married, but there's something different about it. Like, Biff is his dad's, you could call it, servant, I guess. And it's really cool, and I like it, what he does at the end. It's pretty cool. And a great story, makes sense. That's why it's first place. Thanks for watching. If you like that video, comment down below what I should do next. And yeah, I'll see you later.